This is Dr. Butch Melton from the Sacred Heart Gospel Hour radio station, and I want to apologize for the inconvenience of not having the shows on once or twice a week. We're having a new studio here, and we're tearing down everything, and then we're going to move it all over here. And the echo, I want to apologize for the echo of the last video on YouTube that I did, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and all the likes and listeners out there and viewers, and thank you for following us and subscribing, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, I'll try to get those links to the Facebook and also Twitter accounts. It's if I don't get it on this video, I'll get it on the next one. But anyway, I apologize. And I apologize also, I told you I would make another video, part 2 of what I left off on my last video, and here it is. So just take my apologies. You know, I have a doctorate and degree in world religions. I know more about some religion than I do others, but I know basically some and all of them. And basically the major ones is the ones I deal with. So I'm not a preacher. I don't have a church. Of course, I'm ordained. I could have one. I am legally ordained, and I could, like I said. But the Lord God chose me. He saved me from a lot of. I've been pronounced dead 3 times, and brought me back from death. Showed me. Yes, there is an afterlife. I'm not going to get into that now. There is an afterlife, and I'm verifiable, telling you that if you're an atheist and you believe when you die you're dog dead, you're completely wrong. You're going to find that out. I'm sorry to say, but it's going to be too late for you. But anyway, let's get back. Our last video, what we was talking about is the end of days, the end of time, and I'm trying to get this in as fast as I possibly can. Now this also back here is not original Southern Dixie, but it is a Dixie with, as you see in the middle, it's a Native American, and that's my symbol. That same thing, the brothers fighting, over ridiculous stuff. In the Civil War, they say, well, it wasn't ridiculous, but yes, it was. It could have been ironed out without that bloody war and battle and casualties. It was all nonsense, but brothers fighting against brother, which was part of the forming of this country, and got us up to where we're at today, which we were moseying on pretty good there, but we've drifted so far away in the last, really quickly in the last 10, 15 years. We have allowed Satan through the door. And as we talked about on the last video, that God bound Satan. He bound him. And he's bound right now. But each 7 years that goes by, Satan will get more and more looser with his ability to gain power. Okay. It explains that to you in God's Word. When the Jewish people and Hebrew people knew about this centuries, not centuries, but thousands upon thousands of years ago. And they know it. They know it, but regular folks here in America don't seem to get the idea that, they think that Satan's got 2 legs, he's running to and fro all over the place, and he's jumping into people. He's got the power that is outside of our realm of three-dimensional realm. But he can reach you and I. He can tap you into your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind is what it really plays on. And when he does that, he can control you. He can tempt you. He doesn't have to tempt you in the physical sense, to come again. But for the last 100 years, he's been zooming in our existence, in our plane, in our three-dimensional world, so to speak. He's been coming periodically, seeming like in a form of light, and it bounces in, and he's been doing that, throughout. But God got really ticked off at, and bound him and restricted him from interfering as much as he could have been interfering. But now he's being unleashed, so to speak. And it's not, it's not God that's unleashing him. It's mankind messing around with the unknown. And it's Satan, through Satan's will, through his communicating subconsciously, to these scientists and to these powerful people. He's brought the plans. He brought the key to the key that will open up the bottomless pit. The key was the blueprints to build this Cern thing that they got going on over in Switzerland. Okay, everybody's been talking about it on YouTube. The internet is you probably already learned about it, hooked up about it. But and if you're not, I can't give you all the technical jargon about that. I'm in reality not into that, the science part of it. But I can explain away the sub-nature, I call it, the paranormal, that most people, only believes bits and pieces of the paranormal. When it comes to religion, they don't believe it, but when it comes to ghosts, gooks, and goblins, yeah, they believe that, and witchcraft, witches, and all that, and trolls, they'll believe that. But then it starts talking about the supernatural of the Bible. When the Bible talks about strange things that's going to scare grown, strong, healthy men of 260 pounds, 6'6", and they're 21, 22 years old, and they see something that's so frightening, they die from a heart attack. This is the time that we're talking about. It gave you that warning. Jesus spoke of those times. I spoke about that on my last video. It's in the Bible if you care to read it. I gave it to you in the chapters and the verse on my last show. Now, I also took this out, well, I didn't take this out of the Bible. This was, but I'll talk about Hosea, okay? But before I do that, I want to go into the unknown, what they're working on now. They got this Cern cranked up, and even before then, 2 years ago, it was cranked up, and it wasn't putting out enough power. They found the God particle, and that's, they're trying to say, a lot of people out there has got it all wrong. They think they're looking for God. No, they're looking for ways to get on television and write books and tell you they found out that there's proof there is no God. That's what they're searching for, okay? But in reality, what they're going to do is they're looking for what they call, quote unquote, gates and doorways and windows, but they in Cern call it doorways. They want to open up a door that they claim that there are smart creatures out there that's in another dimension that they want to get a hold of and they want to talk to. They want to communicate. They even said they want to send messages through that doorway, or maybe they can receive some messages through that doorway, or they may send something, or then maybe they can call and allow some of these beings to come through the doorway. You see, and they don't know what's on the other side of that door. They have no idea. They have no earthly idea that the powers and principalities, but Jesus Christ warned you, if you're a Christian, and you have studied the Bible, you know the Word, He warned you and everybody that there are things out there that even angels sometimes fear to tread. And He warned you that there are going to be specific areas and things on this planet. There's zones. Enoch told us, which the book of Enoch is not in the Bible because of Roman Catholics and all of these I call them heretics, because what they wanted to put in the Bible, that's what we have today. It gave more control of the church over the people instead of God having control over them. It was the church has control of you now. Now tell me I'm wrong. You're more afraid of your church and the pastors and the preachers and the Pope than you are of God. And that shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It never was set up to be that way. But I got to looking into this, I read the Bible, in Revelation it says we're going to be seeing signs, great signs and wonders. And I got to thinking, we've been seeing this, these spirals that and this actually happened because it was recorded on news. And, just because it's recorded on news doesn't make it, real. They claimed it was always a Russian testing a missile, and this happened more than a dozen times. And when you ask Russia, right when it happened, Russia say, no, we didn't launch anything, no. And then about a couple of months after that, they come up and say, yeah, well, it was us, let's go ahead and bury this thing. And why was that? Why do they want to admit something that they didn't really have anything to do with? It's because these politicians and these forces that be upon this world, these shadow governments that's controlling what we see as a real government, but the shadow forces government is running behind those screen, the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. Behind the curtain is the real people who are running the world. And one of these days we're gonna see every doggone one of them, because they're gonna come prancing out and say it's been them all along, and they're our true leaders, and we should get on our hands and knees and thank them for everything that they've done for us. But they've messed up things pretty good, haven't they? But it hasn't worked out too good for them. But let's get to the basics of the signs and wonders that the Revelations and what Jesus was telling the disciples is what we are seeing now. These orbs, the Native Americans, which I'm 50% half-blooded Cherokee. The other half of me is Italian. So, but I'm just an American. I don't go by all of that. I'm just an American. I'm a God-fearing American. Now, what we got to do here is dwell for a few seconds here about these discs that you've been seeing, these beings, these creatures. Even in the Bible, they described creatures. Now, it said creatures. It didn't say angels. It didn't say demons. It didn't say that. It said creatures. Okay? And Ezekiel saw this wheel within a wheel, and it was fiery, and it gave off smoke and a lot of noise. This is a UFO. This is a basic UFO sighting. And also Jacob's ladder, when he claimed he saw the angels going up and down the ladder. Well, if everybody believes the angels has power to fly, why would they need a ladder? Okay? So the ladder that I'm thinking he saw he just had to describe it as a ladder, but it was a beam of light which was transporting them up and down from the ship. Okay? And these things are coming through these windows, these portals. They're coming through another dimensions, because Jesus said there's powers and principalities out there that you know nothing about. And he said to leave it alone. He warned you about practicing witchcraft, because witchcraft in these rituals and these chants would open up those doorways to let these things in. You see, and they don't stay here all the time. They're not trapped here. They know better. They're intelligent, and they know when to go back through that door. They only come just long enough to do whatever they want to do, or to say, hey, here we are, or mess with our minds a little bit and start rumors and myths, and then laugh at us and zoom off, and then they're still laughing, because we can't get it. We don't know what we're dealing with. But now we've got all this technology and all this new modern way of thinking, we kind of now can hook up A, B, and C and know what people were talking about in the ancient of days. So Jesus was talking about all these strange things, and let's get into that. So I got online, and it's this out in outer space. The Hubble telescope took a picture of it's an X. It's an X, but if you look at it this way, it's a cross. It's a cross. And Jesus said that there'll be things in the sky and the heavens that you will see in those days that's undeniable, unmistakable, coming from the signs of one or the other, either signs from God or signs from the other realm of what we're trying to open up. They're sending through, and this X could be a portal. It could have been something that was trying to open up but never did form. And that's the reason they're trying to strengthen up this power on this Cern thing, which they're going to crank it full force. September, it will be at its maximum, and this is when all hell is going to break loose. Now, I don't know if it'll happen in that day, in that week, but the 21st, from the 21st, get prepared for something that's going to go haywire. From September the 21st through the 28th, 29th, that time period, keep your eyes to the sky. Keep your eyes all around you in the woods, because it's talking about creatures that's going to be coming out of the wood. The beast, it says, will be coming out of the woods. Once they unleash this stuff, once they open the door to the Pandora's box, there's not going to be any closing it. There's not going to be any way to put them back in. We have no power to do so. Only God put them there. God will also be the one that will take them out, to destroy them or put them back. But we have no clue what they're doing. And these scientists, they don't care. They don't care. Only thing they care about is getting power and ruling the world. And so they figure that if they can bring these creatures in, what better powers than that they could be given into them. And they could cooperate and run this world together and rule over this, And then once they have all their tech, you know how humans are. Once we get our hands on technology, we exploit it, and then the good stuff they hide away and they make it better and bigger and better, and then maybe they can do away with these creatures. But that ain't gonna happen. But anyway, this X is flying through space. I looked at it. Now there's not supposed to be any wind in space, so the only wind in space is from the solar wind from the sun. This X, this cross, if you look at it, it's on the internet. Just type in cross, Hubble sees cross in space, and the picture will come up, and you'll see that the ends of there's just only two ends. There's four ends to the X or the cross, and two of those are bent. They're curved. They're curved like a bumper on a car. Okay, and it's on the same line. This one's turned in, and this one's turned in. And since there's no wind in space, so it's got to be the solar activity that's been in it. And then I got to thinking, well, if that's true, if that's so, then the other two ends of the cross should be bent as well, but they're not. They're not. There's something screwy about this. And it's something that's not right. And then the scientist came out, an astronomer, says, oh, we know what it is. This was a comet and an asteroid hit it and it blew up. And once again, they shouldn't be straight lines. If there was a comet and it was an explosion, okay, there's not enough debris there. In other words, there's not enough debris. You can see a clear X or a clear cross, and there's a blue streak that's trailing behind it, okay? If it was blew away, it'd be dust. It'd be a big glob of dust, and it'd be a ball of dust, and that's what you'd be seeing. And maybe you could see through it, maybe not. But there's something strange. There's a skunk in the hen house. Now, is this some kind of a creature, or is it the powers that be in the other world coming through those doors, or is it the demons, or is it an angel? You know, is it from God, a sign from God, or is it's from the other realm, of the underworld? We don't know. But the only thing that we do know is that Christ tells the truth when he said, you will see great signs and wonders. When the shoemaker Levy 9 hit Jupiter, that was a great wonder of our era, in our lifetime. Because the only time that we've ever seen and filmed a comet, that many hitting a planet and exploding. Okay, that was a wonder. And it was also a sign unto us. Because the sign is that if God had not chosen to break that comet up and to push it into, with his power, just push it into Jupiter, it would have hit Earth and annihilated. And there's Bible codes. The Bible code speaks in the code says that it talks about a comet and annihilation. Okay, we'll talk about that comet business here in a minute. But once again, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but back in 2011, I want to talk about a comet, Elenin, E-L-E-N-I-N, Elenin, and this is 2011, just 4 years ago, and it was the closest that a comet has ever came to the planet Earth. The closest ever. You didn't hear too much about it. There wasn't too much going on. You know, there was some things on YouTube and people saying we may be doomed. This may be the annihilation that the Bible spoke of in the whole 9 yards, but it didn't occur. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to come back around and hit again. Now listen to the date with it. This comet came by the closest path September the 11th now. September the 11th on an important date. And once again, that was a sign. What happened in New York City was a sign, whether it be from God or the other worlds, we don't know, but I think it was a sign from God that our time, the great Babylon, is starting to fall. Okay, that was at 2001. And the Mayans predicted something would really kick in after 2012. And I told everybody on my radio show that did I think the world's going to come to an end on December 24th on 2012? I said no. But I do think it is an important date, that it was a start of something that we can't stop. And if you will listen and pay close attention, this is when the Cern was cranking. Okay, and this God particle, they discovered something other than the God particle because they're too excited and they spent too much money and they shut it down. They want to power it up. Why do they want to power it up? I mean, get more trillions and trillions of what? It's even higher than that. Even Stephen Hawkins warned that this thing could create a black hole and just devour the whole universe. He even said this thing could actually destroy the whole entire universe if we crank it and things go wrong. We could start, I think what's going to happen is we're going to start the chain of events that Revelations was talking about through this Cern. And this is going to max out in September, the last week in September. Mark my words, I'm trying to get it to you out here right now to get you all ready. Get you some water, get you some food, because it's going to be, when this thing starts, and when it goes down, there ain't going to be no Walmarts, no food. They ain't going to be worrying about getting no money out of banks and ATM. And take your gold, throw it out on the ground somewhere because it's useless. The silver ain't going to be no good anymore. What's going to be the new money will be water, and food, and your spices. In other words, your salt and your pepper and your sugar and your coffee and your tea will be the main thing. You just don't know. You just don't. I mean, you just try to live without those items I just said for 2 weeks. Just for 2 weeks. Just do without. For 2 weeks you'll go nuts. And then you're going to do without your power, your television, your radios, your internet for the Lord of Jesus. No more gaming for the gaming boys and girls out there that plays that game about 15 hours a day. and there won't be any more chat rooming and all that. Just think about how crazy people are going to get when you take that away from them. And there's no evidence that this is ever going to get fixed for 2 years down the road. It's never going to get fixed. It's the end of all things. So that was a comment, and it was talking about the comet Wormwood. I think it said a great star in the Revelation says the star will come and hit the earth and turn the waters bitter. In other words, poison the water. And this will be in the time of the water shortage is going to really hit home then. I mean, then the water is going to be cursed by God, but with the turning the waters to dead man's blood. It's going to kill all the fishes in the sea and the ocean, and it's going to kill all the fish in all the rivers. And there's no more food from the ocean or the rivers or the lakes, and even the tap water is going to be dead man's blood. Even your wells underground, you people sitting back say, well, I got a well, I don't want to worry about that. When God turns all the water on earth to dead man's blood, it will be red. This is why you will see the sun darkened. It will also make the moon look blood red, because the dead man's blood will be in the clouds. The clouds are made of what? The clouds are made of moisture. What is moisture? Water. So the clouds are going to be red or pink, but it's going to be like dead man's blood. It's going to be like the blood moon. And we also want to have that. Guess what? September, on the same week, we're going to have the final. There's 4 blood moons. It's a rarity. It only happens like I think it's thousands of years. It has, in hundreds of years you may have one. But these are super. All 4 of them were super blood moons. Never heard of it. In the same 2 years. But if you take the 2 years, it's actually, when it started until it stopped, it's still within 1 year, within 12 months. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to keep an eye on this alien. It will return, and they may not name it that anymore, because they can't look up and say, oh, that's alien. They can't do that. There's no license plate on it. They can't look up through the telescope and say that's got a name on it. We tagged it. That's alien. No. They're going to call it a different name. Well, here comes Wormwood. Okay. But anyway, let's get on this a little bit more. This is coming out of the Bible now. Hosea spoke the word of God in chapter 4, verse 3. He said, therefore, in these days, in the last of days, he said, therefore, the land shall mourn, and everyone who dwells upon the land shall languish. Everybody. That's worldwide. It says everybody. Everyone who dwells upon the earth will languish. Look up the word languish. I don't have the time to teach all that. I'm not a very good English teacher, but look up the word languish and you'll find out language is not very fun or pretty. Because it goes on in Hosea, and it says, with the beast, now listen to me here now. It said, the beast of the fields, the birds of the air, even the fishes of the sea, oceans, lakes, and rivers, and ponds, shall be taken away. Shall be taken away. In other words, it's talking about gradually we're going to be given a sign by God, hey, I am God. I am your creator. I am your father. He's tapping you and I on the shoulder. You remember when all the birds were falling out of the air dead, and they still have not today? They cannot tell you why. They can speculate all they want to. And they come out and see these, say, oh, don't worry about it. These die-offs happen, just like they normally do. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just turn your head, forget about it. No, it's a sign from God. It's a sign. If you'll pay attention to all these signs, what I'm fixing to tell you here tonight, it should put a crawl under your skin. With the beast of the fields, now, ladies and gentlemen, there has been a great die-off of the white-tailed deer, buck deer, the white-tail here in America. There's been a great die-off of animals in Africa that we haven't here in America even heard about, but they have been, because they don't want to tell you about it. There's been birds that this has died not only here in America, but also around the world. In Europe, it happened the same way. Ducks, chickens, not too long ago. Chickens, they said they don't know why they died, but they all died. Okay, here we go. And they never did come back out and said it was a virus or disease or anything, which I was waiting for them to do, but they never did do it. Shall be taken away. The birds of the air, ladies and gentlemen, the porpoises, the whales that's beached. God's sending you a message. He's sending you a sign if you've got enough sense up here to take it for what it is. You know, these tree huggers, these radicalized liberals, they want to, oh, it's the climate change is what's killing them. No, it's not. No, it's not. The oceans have never been cleaner. The air is more cleaner now than it was. It ever has been, and it can't get no cleaner. I've talked to scientists in Emory University. I said, can we make the air cleaner? He said, heck no, you can't do it. It's impossible. The air's clean enough as it is right now. If you get on it says 0 particles. On some days, even in the summertime, as hot as it is and muddy as it is, and humidity is 0, 0 particles in the air at certain times of the year, and it goes up, it fluctuates. I've seen it all the way up. I think if I was in my 20s and 30s, I've seen it as high, when they was talking about smog and pollution. Well, it wasn't coming from America, it was coming from overseas. It was coming from the overseas. Over China and Russia was pumping out all this stuff. Here in America, even though they didn't have any regulations on it, they still tried to burn this stuff as clean as possible because, hey, they worked there. They worked there. They didn't want to die. They didn't want to kill their own self off. Their family lived right down the road from the plant. They didn't want to harm their family. So they were doing that beforehand. They was working on that when these idiots in Congress took credit. They said we got to jump in and make a law, make a ban. We got to ban this and ban that, and then we got to put regulations on it. That way we look like we're smart and they're the ones that's dumb. But they were already doing it before they jumped in. Congress and all these liberal tree huggers got the credit for it. Deceiving, tomfoolery, Satan. Satan is a progressive as well. It goes on in Hosea, it said there'll be plagues, locusts, ladies and gentlemen. There are going to be bugs, frogs. And I checked. In the same year this comet went through, 9/11, 2011, and lo and behold, there were plagues. Yes, there was. I found that there were several countries in the world that had plagued with locusts, and these beetles. There was beetles in this one town in I forgot what country it was, but the whole town was just shut down with beetles. And it says also here, look here. In that year, 2011, we already discussed the comets. They also saw a lot of balls of fire. This is one of these that busted, that has been recorded, blowing out the windows back in 2011. Okay? Here we go. It's right here, right in the Bible. It's talking about what's going on right now. It's spirals. You see these all the time, that the Native Americans and also all the native peoples around the world, they drew on the cave walls. They also carved it in. They carved in the cave walls spirals, and then things that look like fingerprints on your thumb. But what these are, you know what these are? They are nothing simply but portals. They're portals opening up. This blue spiral, they got Russia to come come on. I mean, the governments of the world, UK, you know, United Kingdom did, the United States did, they all went, and Switzerland did. They said, for God's sakes, Russia. And I guarantee you, they all got together and they paid Putin to tell the world. It was one of their military, newfangled military missiles, which was a secret. And the reason they didn't disclose it at that moment, it was classified, secret. But why they come out with it then? Why do they want to boast about it? Why, if it's secret? There's a skunk in the hen house now, isn't it? Guarantee you all these countries, these powerful countries that are being owned and operated by the Wizard of Oz behind this curtain, which is Satan himself and his demons. They're manipulating on it. I guarantee you they got up enough money, and Putin and Russia had to have money because all the sanctions have been put on to them by the United Nations in America. They're going broke again, and the people are starving, and they're going to revolt. And Putin can't pay the military and his army. They've been defecting. They said, well, if I'm not going to get paid, I'm not going to do this. So they laid down, they're gone. The only hardliners, that's what they call them, hardliners, is the ones that want to stay and fight. As long as they can pull the trigger and kill somebody, they enjoy that. They're criminals. They're murderers, but they get by with it because they can do that at a time of war. Deaths of birds and all the mammals, ladies and gentlemen. Elk and deer, bear, even octopuses. And even the plankton, there was a big die-off, remember? And this happened in 2011, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't talking about a long time ago. I'm talking about just 4 years ago in 2011, all of this happened. Look it up. Also, there's a talk in 2011, started in 2011, you know what the talk was? The new talk was human hybrids. And right now, the United Kingdom has already admitted that they are experimenting with human hybrids. Okay? Listen to me very carefully here. They're experimenting. And now we got to this point here in the United States that they've been caught, the parenthood has been caught selling baby parts. They've been cutting up these little unborn babies after they kill, after they kill them. They claim they kill them. I don't know that for a fact. I think they chop them up like chopping up chicken to fry on Sunday. I think they're chopping up while they're still alive. Because, the organs will be fresher that way. And then they're selling these organs. Selling the organs. Are they giving any of the money to the woman? No. They actually charge the woman or the boyfriend or the husband almost close to $1,000 for the procedure. You got to pay them so they can rip off the baby parts and sell it and make millions of dollars. That's evil. Evil Satan at work right there. And this human hybrids are going to be their way, the demon's way, is to, instead of possessing a human body. So we humans, especially the religious humans, we have a will of our own, and we will fight off this possession from the demons. We know we're being attacked. We say, no, I'm not going down. No. I love God. I'm going to pray. And see, God's going to protect you. But these human hybrids are a different creature. These are going to be, I call them soulless. They're not going to have a soul. These are being bred so these demons from the underworld can take over those human hybrids in the day of revelation. And they're going to be doing some dirty work going on. And these are already created. They're already ready. How many? We don't know. 2011, ladies and gentlemen. 2011. 150 that we know of. 150. But how many has not been found out about? And how many do we have right now?
They admitted having 150 back in 2011, 150 human hybrids. This is in UK, to all you people that live there. Look it up. But it was, you know, it was real. It was real. And all this really did happen. It was real, and it happened. Human, listen to this, human animal hybrids. They also got that. Human and animal put together. If you go back into time, into history, history repeats itself, like I told everybody on my radio show. History does repeat itself. Because we never learn. We never learn from our mistakes. So now we're going to have human hybrids, as they did in Egypt. You know, on the walls and the pyramids, you have these hybrids. Body of a man, head of a dog. A head of a crocodile, body of a man. And on that wall, it had a body, a human body, but it didn't have no head. It had a blood vessel sticking out with blood pumping out. Okay? So what they were telling you is that they was fixing to transplant on that body an animal head, and it was a bull head. It was a bull. And everybody thought that was missed, but no, people did not waste their time. They didn't waste their time to paint that stuff on the wall or carve it into a wall unless they seen it for real. It really was there. These are creatures that designed by the fallen angels. The fallen angels, the Nephilim, the Nephilim. Let's talk about Egypt, you know, and all the nations, countries that are, you know, that are now promoting this demonic plague, I call it. It's coming out of Hollywood. It's gushing out of Hollywood. They're glamorizing. Our young people think it's cool. You know, it's like these X-Men to become a hybrid. There's young people right now would probably try to go to UK to say, hey, I want to be a hybrid. Wouldn't surprise me not one bit. Okay? But it was all real. Evil, ladies and gentlemen. It's all high-end technology. But all that high-end technology that we got right now today is given to us by these aliens or demons. And I say, they're all connected, the aliens and demons. These aliens are hybrids, and these were created by the fallen angel, the Nephilim, so that these underground creatures, when this doorway is opened by the Cern in September, they will be all let out. They got to have bodies to go to so they will not frighten everybody to death so they can go around it. But they're going to frighten everybody to start with. They're going to run to and fro, and they're going to cause havoc, because the Bible tells you about that. But then they're going to need a home to go to. They're going to go into these human hybrids, and they'll be in these fallen ones, these Nephilims. They want them to have animal heads, because what's more frightening with a human body and a talking bull? There's nothing to be no more frightening than that. The end of times. The end of time. As in the days of Noah, it said in the Bible, as the days of Noah, so it will be in the end of days of our times. Jesus will return. From 2011 through 2015 right now. 2011, the signs started. 2011, 2012, the Mayans, remember? It all started. It began. This world, ladies and gentlemen, this world the way it is right now, cannot stand long. It's like Jesus said, he said, a house built on sand cannot stand. We're running downhill without any brakes. And I've done discovered, ladies and gentlemen, that America in the Bible, it was talked about in the Bible of the great Babylon, the whore of the world. And I always thought to myself, it was the Vatican. No, the Vatican's going to be destroyed. I found that when I went to this, when I got studied and got my paperwork out, then I found the real things going to happen to the Pope. The Pope admitted not last year, he said, he told everybody, this Pope, the one that took over the other one's Pope, you know, the other Pope stepped down, and this one, Francis, he stood up and said, I have only but a short time. He said, maybe a couple of years. And he stopped, and that's all he said. He didn't say he was sick. He didn't say he doesn't act sick. I think he knows that Christ is going to come and put his hands on him as the false prophet, and going to come and get the beast as well, and going to throw them, and he knows it. He knows it. He knows he's only got a short time left. And this is when the great city of the 7 hills, which is the Vatican, there's no doubt, there's no other place on earth that has that, it's surrounded by 7 hills, the Vatican. It tells you in the Bible, it paints a picture just as plain as day. Vatican shall be destroyed. And the great whore of the world, Babylon the Great, will also fall. And Babylon, ladies and gentlemen, is America. Because we've taken everything that's moral and God, and we've thrown it away, we've shredded it up. And we call ourselves civilized while we're killing billions of little innocent unborn children and chopping them up like chicken to fry on Sunday. And then they go out and then they hold up the little legs and arms. What do I have? Who's the highest bidder for this? Oh, I got a liver over here. Who's got the highest? How about a lung? A little bitty heart that used to beat. Or the little blue eyes that'll never see life. Because man murdered them. And we're going to call ourselves civilized and moral people. It'll be looked back upon if we had enough time to be history. But we're going to be history, all right. But if we could have went on, but we're not going to go on now. I'm just saying if. The people in our future would look and say, good God, what savages. It's human sacrifice is what it is. There's no way that you could tell me that's not human sacrifice. They're sacrificing those little children to make money. And I bet you that the doctors are telling these women that the kid's going to be deformed so that they will abort them. And there's nothing wrong with those kids. And you're trusting that doctor. But he's lying to you just so they can kill your baby and chop it up and sell the bits and pieces out of it. Which makes you morally corrupt, which makes you and also accessory to murder. In God's eyes, he's going to charge you. And even if you go and vote for these people, and you put them into office like you have the last 8 years, and and many, many years before that too as well. I'm going to put the blame on all parties here. Independent, Democrat, Republicans, because they're all scared of this Planned Parenthood. They're all scared of women's right to abort and chop up their fetuses. But God said, God told you in his word, that he's the life giver, and he giveth, he takes away, not you. You have no right to that baby's life. You don't even have the right for your own life. This life that I have, this body God gave unto me, it is his, not mine. Your life is not yours. But boy, don't you think it is. But you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. Every time you pull that voting booth lever and you voted them in and they maintain killing those babies, God's going to look you square in the eye. He's going to look you square in the eye. He's going to ask you. He's going to ask you. Tell me, why did you kill my little babies? I wanted them to live. I gave them life. And they were alive the moment of conception. And then you let it grow. You let it grow and got big enough to where you could chop it up like a chicken. Skin it like a fish. Gut it like a deer. And then hold it up for sale on the internet, or anybody around the world that wants the highest bidder gets the bits and pieces of it. And don't you look God in the eyes and tell him no lie that you did not vote. But now let me explain this to you too as well. There's going to be a lot of people out there that don't vote. You know what God's going to tell you? He said, if you'd have got up off your rump, got off the couch, you could have went in there and voted, and that vote would have counted. Maybe they would not have been killing my babies. So I'm going to hold you just as responsible if I held them other ones. You're just as guilty as murder as they are. Yeah. He's got a special place. I read in the Bible, it's got a special place. So those babies that lost their lives and been ripped out of mama's wombs and suffered all that pain and agony, God's going to give them. He says, I'm going to let you sit upon the mountain and look down into the valley of the screaming and the horror that I'm going to put those people that killed you, took your life, with not having any right to do so whatsoever. I'm going to let you watch for eternity their pain and their suffering. And they're screaming and they're praying and they're begging. God bless the little children. Repentance. That's the only way that America can get out of it. America right now is so far gone, I've done and wrote it off. You remember on my radio shows, all of y'all used to listen to me. I told you there's going to be a point between 2012 and whenever, but there's going to be one thing that's going to break it all wide open. And it was two of the greatest things. There was abortion and homosexuality. The same thing. Human sacrifices was going in Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah in that area was known as the Great Babylon. Because everything went, everything goes, whatever you want to do. If it felt good, do it. If you like it, do it. There is no God, there's nothing, just do it. And they worshipped the unseen, they worshipped the demons and devils. And they were proud of it. They was having orgies all over the street. Men was laying with men, women with women, women with beasts of the earth, men with beasts of the earth, bestiality. Anything. This is when the angels walked in. Immediately. Turn them over to us so we may know them. Know in those words, in those days, know means have sexual relationships with them. And this was men talking, bring out those men angels, that they didn't know they was angels at that time. Until the angels struck them all blind. They made them all blind. Blinded them all. So they all knew, hey. But it was too late. The straw had done been broken. Just like I said, history repeats itself. Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be repeated again. But this time on a grander scale. 3,000 miles from the East Coast to the West Coast. From north of this country to the south of this country. It's going to be split down the middle. I've seen it. God gave me that vision. Where the Grand Mississippi is going to be a wide, when you stand on one side of the Mississippi, you're not going to be able to see land on the other side. It's going to be so massively wide. And if you was on the space station, you'll be looking down upon America. It's going to look like 3 islands. 3 islands. Probably less than 700, 600 miles wide. California, when I saw, is gone. You remember that song, Oceanfront Property in Arizona? There's Native Americans, and not just one tribe, but there's many tribes in the West that saw visions, and their shamans told them that one day the ocean would be at the doorstep of Arizona. And it's written down in stone. Thousands of years ago, they had that vision. The Hopi told about it. The Hopi also told about the great blue star, which I think, and they said this would be the time of the great shaking, the great cleansing of the earth. In other words, everything on it will be destroyed, and we'll start a new earth. Isn't that what the Bible says? There shall be a new heaven and a new earth. Yes, it parallels one another. It parallels one another. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Babylon the whore, California, Hollywood, is where it all advanced from. Homosexuality came across. When the Supreme Court said it was okay, when they ruled that it was okay, they went around Congress, and what they did was they wrote a law. They made it law. And in Supreme Court, it's against the law for them to make laws. Only Congress shall make laws. It's against our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, against our laws for the president to make laws. But we're seeing something right now that's never happened in the history of our country. The president's making laws hand over fist, going around Congress, and so is the Supreme Court. And Congress is not doing a thing about it. They're not lifting their finger to do nothing about it. They should have impeached not only Obama and the Vice President, Reid and Pelosi. They should have impeached every swinging one of them on the Supreme Court. They should do so, and they should lock them up into prison. They all are criminals. You wouldn't want to know what I really think they ought to do to them. That's to blindfold them. And what happens to people when you blindfold them and the sun rises in the morning? That's what I think should happen to them. But, setting it all aside, they broke the camel's back. And I told y'all on my radio show that God showed me that there was going to come a time when he could not take it anymore. That America would be so corrupt it would be beyond salvation. Be beyond salvation. He's seen enough baby killing. He's seen enough homosexuality. And now he's even seeing it on, it's happening. Bestiality. Bestiality is the next big thing. A woman married her dog not too long ago. A man married a goat not too long ago. And they thought it was all funny. It's not funny, it's real. It's real, it's happening. That'd be the next law that they pass. Yeah, but you can marry your own animals. Now, any animal you want. Well, hey, if you love them, why not? If it feels good, do it, right? It's going to make God feel good what he's fixing to do. He's going to weep. And he told everybody, he's going to weep, and everybody in heaven is going to weep when that day comes, and the whole world's going to weep when they look off on the far shores of England in London, England, and when they look from the shores of Europe and they see the great smoke that used to be America. Because there's going to be fires and brimstone just going to burn it. I saw Mount St. Helens blow again. I saw Mount Rainier go up. This is right before that. This is going to happen right in Yellowstone National Park. It's going to blow. It's not going to blow the biggie, but it's going to blow enough that really going to mess this place up. And then after that, this is when the earthquake hits. The tsunami comes in. There's also going to be a great stone that falls into the Pacific Ocean. And there's going to be a 500 to 1,000 foot wave going to come in. And this land is going to sink with this great earthquake and this great shock from this rock that's going to hit. I see it. Land is going to sink, and that's going to be California, Oregon, and Washington State, because these three states are the main ones that started all this rigmarole back in the 50s and 60s, especially the hippie era. Peace, brother. Let's make love. We don't have to get married. If it feels good, do it. You can do anything under the sun. There is no God. Let's party, huh? Well, the party's over, ladies and gentlemen. Stock market's going to fall. It's beginning to fall now. In September, it's going to crash like you've never seen before. Things are going to happen. People's going to starve. People's going to die. There's going to be burn, raping, and killing across this country like you have never seen. It's not going to be ISIS that's going to destroy America. It's not going to be ISIS. It's not going to be Iran. It's going to be God that's going to destroy America. He showed me that. There's going to be another great rock, a flaming one this time. A comet is going to hit the Atlantic coast. There's going to be it wiped out on the East Coast. Florida's going to be all gone. Half of Georgia, all the way up to Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, gone. New York's gone. Manhattan. I mean, there's going to be the western part of New York. The western part, it's about split the state of New York right down the middle. And in between here, a lot of Harrisburg is going to be underwater. But the mountains will not be touched. The Appalachian Mountains, it will stop there. Get on top of the mountains, you'll be safe on this other side. The Great Lakes are going to be one big body of water, and it's all going to be drained down through the Mississippi. The new Mississippi is going to be an ocean separating two big hunks of land that used to be America. Yes. God's wrath is coming to a neighborhood near you. And there's going to be a cry around this world, and suffering, and plagues, and starvation. No more food from America. No more money coming from America. No. And the government cannot help you or me. We're going to have to depend on God. Remember what God said. I'm going to close this show. And I got some more stuff to tell you on the next one. And I hope to get it back to you. The next one I hope will be quicker, because we don't have much time between now and September. But ladies and gentlemen, what you've been seeing, Russia doing, China doing, they all been bringing in their military and their navies around closer and closer to America. There's a reason for that. I'll tell you about that on my next show, on my next video. But get yourself ready. God said if you are truly His child, He'll protect you in those days. I believe that's truly why he got myself and Becky up here, my wife, and my family. Most of my family is up here in Pennsylvania. We're up on the high elevation of the mountains of the Allegheny. I believe He got us up here so we will be spared. the Holocaust is going to hit the East Coast, because we were right in the area of Georgia where it's from what I saw was gone. Okay, believe me or not, I don't care. Call me an old man hallucinating, I don't care. Believe it or not, I don't care. Laugh, I don't care. I know what I know. I've seen what I've seen. And there is life after death. There's going to be great death. And what broke it all loose was abortions and homosexuality. You know, everybody says, well, you know, you should love, you know, God loves everybody. Now, I don't know where you got that at. I don't know where in the world you got that at, because I've seen in the Old Testament, you know, the God that same God you're talking about went to war. He wiped out the Philistines. They're extinct. They're no longer here. And there's several other that was wiped out because they were so evil. Sacrifice, killing, homosexuality. Do it. Do anything under the sun as long as it feels good and you think it's right. See? That's Satan talking to you. That's Satan talking to you. If you think Satan's going to, you think he's going to help you? He's going to have his hands busy over in the Mideast dealing with Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is going to the Mideast. That's the theater that he's going to. And we over here, we're not even going to know anything about it. We're going to see Christ coming in all his glory. We can just only know what's going on over because what we read, what we've heard from, you know, messengers like myself. There's a lot of messengers out there. See, I'm not the only one that God has given visions to. And you need to listen to them too as well. And it's a funny thing that a lot of those visions actually fit exactly one right behind another. You can get prepared. He said he will bring you to a place of safety. He did. And I know with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. That's why I'm in Pennsylvania, from all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. It was God's will to bring us here. And nobody's ever going to change my mind on that. And I know that he's got plans, great plans, for those that makes it through the Holocaust, those that are going to be praying to him and has already repented and loves him and fears him. He's going to protect them. And they are going to be the ones that's going to reign with Christ for 1,000 years. My children, listen. For 1,000 years, you'll be with Christ himself. Right here on this brand new earth, when Christ purifies it, gets rid of all the evil. What a great day that'll be. How about waking up one morning where there's no evil, no temptations, no thoughts of lust or any evil thoughts trying to enter your mind or your heart. We can't even imagine that, because it goes on all the time, constantly. We can't even imagine what a glorious day that will be. What a glorious time it's going to be. And what a great day to sit down face to face with the Lord Savior Jesus Christ and to hear him speak and give us wisdom forevermore. Ladies and gentlemen, till my next video, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, hit the like button, give this link out to all your friends, your family, especially your loved ones, because bits and pieces of this, it's only just begun. And I'm going to come back and hit you with the rest of it. And it's not going to be pretty. Until then, may the Lord Jesus Christ, the living Savior, bless you and keep you. And may you repent if you have not already done so. And do not let anybody deceive you
or fool you and tell you that, you know, if you love it, do it. Until we meet again, God bless you.